Governor Gavin Newsom is essentially shutting down all of California again, because it's not the first time that this has happened. But these lockdown restrictions are significantly more severe than I think anything California has seen as of yet. Today he announced that he would implement regional stay-at-home orders so that people can essentially no longer leave their houses, unless it's something that he, Gavin Newsom, thinks is essential. And as we'll see in a little bit, his opinion of essential doesn't really make any sense. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Here, though, Newsom said he was pulling an emergency brake, announcing a regional stay-at-home order in California based on a region's available intensive care unit capacity. So what he's doing is breaking down California into 5 different regions, and they're looking at the ICU capacity in each of those regions. They want to implement this stay-at-home order to areas where ICU capacity falls under 15%. However, and this is a kicker, Newsom indicated that 4 of the 5 regions would be under the 15% ICU threshold by early this month. So he's implementing this regional stay-at-home order, essentially saying you cannot leave for any reason unless I deem it essential, and it's already going to apply to 4 out of the 5 regions in all of California. And the 5th one, the Bay Area, is on track to meet the threshold by mid-December. So by the end of the month, essentially, all of California will be completely shut down. Regions that fall under the stay-at-home order requirement will be under the lockdown for 3 weeks. Now, I understand the reasoning behind this kind of. I understand that people want to err on the side of caution when it comes to lockdowns. The problem is that one, many times they don't really even abide by those own lockdowns. For instance, just a few weeks ago, Gavin Newsom went to a dinner party when he was telling other people to, stay at home and not interact with people outside your household. So that's not great. But also, at the very least, the evidence is divided on how effective lockdowns actually are. So I think a more reasonable approach is to have everyone try and wear masks and social distance, not necessarily shutting down the entire economy of California. This is pretty insane. We've already seen, according to Yelp, that as of August 31st, 32,000 restaurants have closed, and 20,000 of them will be permanent. We are losing tens of thousands of small businesses that are going to be permanently closed because of lockdowns like this. Now, Newsom's lockdown is probably going to be similar to what they're already seeing in Los Angeles, where it was announced recently that in Los Angeles, they're essentially banning most walking, driving, and use of public transport. And I know perhaps that sounds like an exaggeration, but unfortunately, it's not. They are literally trying to stop you from going outside almost for any reason. This is what it says. Walking, driving, travel on public transport, bikes, motorcycles, and scooters are prohibited, other than for those undertaking essential activities. So you can't even go on a walk, you can't ride your bike, you can't even drive in your own car when you're, not 6 feet near anyone. You can't do any of that because of a lockdown, unless of course you're deemed essential. Now obviously, being a teacher or a doctor, that is completely essential, and I understand that. But why are politicians the one to decide who is and who isn't essential? If I own a salon, for example, that is non-essential and it's going to be shut down. And the shutdown will probably affect me and the people that I employ. But apparently, entertainment industry workers are exempt from California stay-at-home orders. This is something that Newsom said about 2 weeks ago, that these lockdown rules don't apply to entertainment industry workers because they are on a list of essential workers and are an exception to the rule. So what Gavin Newsom is essentially saying is that all of the small business owners and all of the people they employ are not important. At least most of them aren't. But if you work in entertainment, if you are a Hollywood star and you're making millions of dollars acting in movies, that is essential. That is what we need in the middle of a pandemic. People making movies about stuff that we all don't care about. I would much rather have small businesses stay afloat and not have tens of thousands of them go under than have the next Wonder Woman movie, for example. This is ridiculous. We don't need movies. They are not essential. We don't need TV shows. They are not essential. And if you're a politician deeming them essential, then you need to reevaluate what you think is important. Because tens of thousands of businesses are going under, and somehow that's okay because Hollywood can still keep going. This frustrates me to no end. And if you live in California, still, for some reason, I suggest that you try and get out. Maybe not right now because you're going to be locked at home and you can't go anywhere. But when this is over, I think we can all recognize that Gavin Newsom does not have your best interests at heart. Or if he does, he has no idea what he's doing. Because this is not a way to live. Even if it's only for 3 weeks, that's not really going to stay just 3 weeks. Just remember, at the very beginning, we were told it was going to be a short lockdown in March. And now, many people are still at home, unemployed, and not working. And we're in December. So this 3-week shutdown, will in all likelihood end up being the entire winter. Who knows? It could happen. And if it does, well, California is going to be even crappier than it is already. In conclusion, Governor Gavin Newsom sucks. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's trying to lock down the entire state of California, and thousands, if not millions of people are going to be hurt by this. And this is a pretty bad note to end on, but if you like this content, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and share it. I'd appreciate it if you try and share this content because YouTube doesn't tend to like the things that I put out. And I'd appreciate any help. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.